My Giant is a pretty good film. I'd seen this before, but I'd never reviewed it, so I decided this was a good excuse to rewatch it, and it's generally as good as I remembered. This was released in 1998. It's directed by Michael Eman, written by David Seltzer, and we have a cast including Billy Crystal and Gheorghe Mureșan, and I apologise if I've mispronounced that. And it's about a talent agent, Sammy, who finds a character called Max, and Max is incredibly tall. The actor who plays Max is 7'7", which, needless to say, is quite tall. And Sammy thinks that there could be a place for him in film, and he wants to represent him, and he wants to take him back with him to Hollywood and see if he can make a career. And in general, I think it's a decent narrative. I think it's quite interesting. It's very interesting to see the attitudes that different people have towards Max as a character. It's interesting to see how Max responds to other people. And there were aspects of this that I'd forgotten about when I sat down to watch it, because we do have quite a detailed narrative, particularly with Max and certain relationships and Max's personal life, I guess. And I'd forgotten all of that. And then I started watching it, and it all came flooding back to me, which was, I think, a good sign. Not great that I'd forgotten about it, but a good sign that it all came back to me nevertheless. And in general, I think the story is interesting. The characters are well written. I think there are a lot of takeaways from this. I think there is a lot of question, in my opinion, about whether Sammy was doing the right thing, whether this was the right career for Max, and ultimately, was Sammy trying to make decisions on behalf of Max? And I don't have any answers to those. I'm not going to provide any answers to those, but I think certainly there are some good discussions to be had surrounding this. It is a comedy. Well, it's a comedy drama. I don't find it to be that funny. I'm not saying it's dry, I'm not saying there's no comedy, but I don't think it's the funniest film. But I think it's definitely a very fascinating narrative. It's an interesting story. The characters are interesting, very likable. So in general, it was a good experience. And as I said, I'd seen it before. I remembered liking it. And I think I liked it just as much this time around. So no complaints from me. My Giant is definitely a fascinating film. And if it sounds like something that might appeal to you, I'd say it's worth checking out. It's a pleasant story. I think the character interactions, particularly between Max and Sammy, are quite interesting to see. We have some really good performances. And ultimately, I'd say My Giant is definitely a film that's worth checking out.